Hey everybody, this is Josh, and today in this video, as the title suggests, I'm going to recap all the new movies I saw in theaters in the month of January, including some new movies on streaming platforms like Netflix. Now these movies are only going to be the ones I didn't do a formal review for. Some of these movies actually came out before January, but some of them didn't go to theaters in my area until January, or I didn't get around to seeing them until January. Keep in mind that I'll only be giving my quick thoughts on these movies and won't be going into depth a whole lot, so with all that said, let's jump right into it. The first movie I saw in January was Escape Room. This is 100% a January movie. It's not good. This is just Sony's attempt at trying to capitalize on a concept that has become very popular with people recently. If I had to name some positives about it, I did like the concept of the first 3 rooms they had to escape. The third one especially was pretty cool. It's upside down and the floor is collapsing beneath them, which added some tension. It was a pretty entertaining sequence that was fairly satisfying. The opening scene that sets everything up was also decent, and it was a good way to begin the movie. Besides that, the story's ridiculous, the dialogue is awful, none of the characters were likable, and the acting is a joke. Jay Ellis, you fucking sucked. This is just a tame and generic PG-13 thriller that manages to be funny sometimes because of how bad it is, but it's mostly just bad with annoying characters. I'm gonna give Escape Room a 1 out of 5. The next movie I saw was Dragon Ball Super: Broly. So this movie was geared towards fans of Dragon Ball Z, or more specifically, fans of the fairly new Dragon Ball Super series. The events of this movie takes place after the Dragon Ball Super series, which had 131 episodes. So if you're a huge fan and you've seen all of those episodes, you're probably going to love this because it officially incorporates Broly into canon. If you're a passive fan who's watched some Dragon Ball Z in the past and you have a decent understanding of the characters like me, then it's kind of just meh. If you don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z, then I advise avoiding this because it's not a good introduction and you're not going to know what the fuck is going on without someone explaining it to you. The story is fine, I guess. The events of this movie play out very similarly to the events of Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn, if you've seen that movie. The animation is nothing new or stellar. The CGI doesn't look that good and it doesn't blend into the rest of the animation very well. I'm going to give Dragon Ball Super Broly a 3 out of 5. Next up is a special double feature of the death of Superman and the reign of the Supermen, which I managed to catch with some friends on a limited promotional run. And I will say that I did have an overall great experience watching these movies. There wasn't an incessant amount of previews or promotional clips from movie, which was a nice change of pace. Before the movie and during the intermission, they have trivia on the screen and an audio track of crowd ambience, encouraging you to talk with your friends about the movie during the times that it's not playing. I would like to see more of that in movies, as I think it's a good way to get people to interact and engage with the movie and each other. As for my feelings on the actual movies, I thought they were pretty generic and the animation was very stale. There are so many times where nothing is moving in a scene except a character's lips, which don't even look in sync with what they're saying. It was so distracting and so difficult to get past the subpar animation sometimes, especially when they use CGI, which looked terrible because it's not lit or textured correctly. The story of both movies were fine, I guess. I liked the concept of having multiple evil Supermans and the reign of the Supermen. I liked the concept so much that I wouldn't mind if DC did a live action adaptation for it. What's really funny is that even with the subpar animation, I was still more engaged by these movies than some of the live action DC films like Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. Doomsday was way more intimidating and scary in the death of Superman than he was in Batman vs Superman, even though he kind of looks like Uncle Iroh from Avatar in this movie. But if you're a big fan of the DC comics and DC animation, then you might want to check this out. I'm going to give this double feature a 3 out of 5. The next movie I'm going to talk about is the new Netflix documentary Fyre, The Greatest Party That Never Happened. This is an insane story about how a talented entrepreneur named Billy McFarlane and Ja Rule convinced a bunch of people to both participate in and attend the scam of a festival that ended up getting canceled after the first day. It kind of reminded me of The Social Network, but instead of it being a success story about an asshole genius creating a great product, it was a story about a talented fraud who failed miserably. It even had some of the same exact music by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross that appeared on the 9 Inch Nails Ghost record and the original score for The Social Network, including this song. The familiar soundtrack was really the only issue I had with it. As a general note, I feel like I keep hearing more and more of Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's music in documentaries. Hopefully other films will stop using their music for everything because it's kind of annoying, but I digress. This documentary had my attention from beginning to end. It was exhilarating and had many unique and different characters who all had very interesting perspectives and stories to tell, especially Andy King. Holy fuck. It's an intriguing commentary about stupid rich people, social media's influence on others, and how even professionals in their respective fields can sometimes make incredibly poor choices. I highly recommend this. You don't even have to go out to theaters to see it, and I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. The final film I want to talk about is Roma, another Netflix original. I was going to originally make a formal review about Roma, as I definitely think it deserves one, but it's been out for so long at this point that I felt like it would make more sense to quickly address my feelings on it instead of doing a more in-depth review, many of which already exist on YouTube. I will be honest, when I tried watching this movie at home through Netflix, I wasn't exactly thrilled by it. It is a very slow-moving film with lots of slow-moving pans that go on for a long time. I decided to watch it at a local theater near me who did a special screening for it, and I'm very happy I made that decision. This is an incredible film no matter what screen you see it on, but watching it on a bigger screen with surround sound that can do the sound design some justice made a huge difference. Roma is a beautiful story about family and moving on even in the midst of chaos. This film was shot and directed by Alfonso Cuarón, so it's no surprise that there's plenty of excellent long takes in this film. The climax had me in tears. It's beautifully shot, it's well written, well acted, it's funny, and at times very profound. I don't have many issues with this film. One of them would be the main actress, who I wish would have reacted a little more in some scenes. Sometimes I thought she was just a little too observant when a bunch of crazy shit was happening. This film felt very authentic, but I felt like her lack of reacting at some points felt a little inauthentic. My only other issue is that I still thought it was pretty slow at times. However, I think the way it's paced makes sense for the structure of the film. And it's still very engaging, which is saying a lot since there's pretty much no music. This was definitely one of the best films of 2018. It absolutely deserves all the praise that it has been getting, and I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for future recaps, reviews, and other content. If you'd like to see some of the other films I reviewed in January, then definitely check out some of the other videos on my channel. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you like the content, and I'll see you in the next video.